Good day. Today's segment is to discuss what's a problem, how to identify what problems are and what causes them, and in general what to do about it. It's kind of an overview. We all agree that there is change. I mean, change has been here forever and will be here forever. Whenever there is change, what actually happens? What does really change mean? It means that there is a new event. There is something new happening in front of us, and now we have to make a decision what to do about it. Whether we go left or right, go back, or stay in one place, we have to make some choices. So whenever there is change, there are actually problems. Why? Because we have to make choices what to do about it. Now, interestingly, that the word problem in the Chinese language and the word opportunity is one and the same word. And come to think of it, from our experience, we also know that many problems, if we handle them right and we overcome them and we learn from them, we become stronger. So really, that was not a problem. It was an opportunity to become stronger. And many opportunities, if we mishandle them, if we do not deal with them correctly, turn out to be enormous problems. Many businessmen can tell you that they wish they would have never exploited certain opportunities because they turn out to be an endless problem that pestered them for a long time. So what really is it? What is this new event? What is this new phenomena that was caused by change? Is it a problem or is it an opportunity? It will really depend on your frame of mind. For some people, problems are all opportunities, and for some people, all opportunities are problems. What we really have to realize is that there will be no opportunities unless there are problems. How can you have an opportunity unless there is a problem? As a matter of fact, somebody else's opportunity is your problem. They look at your problem and they see an opportunity. And the question should be, why don't you make your own problems your own opportunity rather than somebody else's opportunity? One of the exercises we are going to ask you to make in this segment is to analyze what problems that you have that by reframing them, by rephrasing them, you can turn them into opportunities. Everything truly is an opportunity. I was just in a certain country, Turkey in this case, and they were telling me they have a big problem because a majority of their industry is in the textile industry, and China is taking a lot of their business away, and they're really worried about the future. And I said, what a great opportunity. It's not really a problem. And the opportunity is here how to jump into the 21st century rather than remain and reinforce the 19th century industry that they have developed. How to become a more high-tech, more developed economy rather than rely on cheap labor and continuous competition in a market in which they don't have a competitive advantage anymore. That's what Singapore has done by putting a tremendous taxes on labor-intensive industry, so people will switch into high-tech and into internet, into computers, which really gives them a tremendous advantage worldwide. And the same thing will be applying to you. You have to start thinking about how your problems can be opportunities rather than problems that stymie you. But now let's continue. What causes problems? Where do those problems come from? And what do we do about them? Why change always creates problems and opportunities? Why is that true? Why every time that there is change, there is a problem or an opportunity to do something? Because there is something new. Why there is something new? And why is it really considered a problem? Realize that everything is a system. Everything is a system. If you look at the stars, there is a system there. There is interdependencies between the stars, all kinds of forces operating in guiding the stars, how they relate to each other. Everything is a system. An organization is a system as well. And by definition, a system is composed of subsystems. They have parts of them. It's like the Russian dolls. You know, there is a part of a part of a part of a part. And a subsystem is composed of subsystems, etc., etc., etc. What we have learned is that the subsystems do not change together in synchronicity when there is a change. Some subsystems change faster than others. They're more flexible. Give you an example. You as a human being, you're a system too. There is more than one you. There is you mentally, there is you physically, there is you emotionally, and there is you spiritually. Physically, you could be 40 years old because you were born 40 years ago. But mentally, maybe you're 70 years old because you, with good education and good upbringing and a lot of experiences, you're wiser than your age. While emotionally, maybe you're still a teenager and your spouse tells you, when are you going to grow up, you know, because you're still doing things that teenagers do. And spiritually, maybe you're not born yet. As you can see, when we change, we do not change in synchronicity. That creates gaps. That creates cracks. Those gaps are manifested in something we call problems. So if you are in different stages of your life cycle for different parts of you, mentally you're 70 years old, emotionally you're 17 years old, physically you're 40 years old, and maybe spiritually not born yet, you don't have it together, right? And some people have to go to psychotherapy to put them together, and that's what the role of a psychotherapist is to put you together, because when we are in trouble, what do we say? I'm falling apart. I'm coming unglued. And when we are impressed with someone, what do we say? Wow, this person has it all together. This family has it all together. This community has it all together. This country has it all together. Please realize that disintegration, falling apart, is a sign of disease. And having it all together is a sign of health. That's why psychologists say oneness or illness. Anytime you fall apart, you need to put yourself together. And the same thing is true for a company. So change causes things to fall apart. The more change, the more things fall apart. Thus, if you live in an environment which is physically, let's say environmentally, weather-wise, subject to a lot of change, you will have a lot of repair to do to your house. Why? Because it's subject to a lot of change. If you drive your car in an environment which there is a lot of potholes and a lot of change on the road, you will have to repair your car much more. And if you want to have stress in your marriage, have a lot of change. Move jobs, move houses, move. A lot of change. As a matter of fact, build a house together and you will see a lot of crises in your family. Because change causes issues to come to the surface that we have not dealt with them in the past. And now we have to deal with them, and there is uncertainty, and there is risk, and there is decisions to be made, and there is threat that maybe your present interest will be threatened in a certain way. In other words, there are issues that we call problems, or maybe there are opportunities for, by resolving them correctly, we grow and we become stronger. May I suggest to you that all problems, whether you have a problem in your company, in your marriage, physically, in your car, or your piping system is bursting, all problems come from one source, from one cause, and they are something is falling apart. Something is not what it used to be. Something is falling apart because there was a change. Something changed. When you go to repair your car, what does a garage person do? Looks for what has fallen apart. And what does he have to do? He has to fix it. What does it mean? Bring it back together. Same thing if you have a problem in your marriage. What a good psychotherapist or family therapist has to find out is what's causing you to fall apart. What has changed since your wonderful courtship? What has changed? Maybe a baby was born. Maybe you moved the house. Maybe you moved jobs. Maybe your aspirations changed. Maybe your expectations changed. Something has changed. So we have to identify what are the changes and what is falling apart. That is a diagnosis. What has fallen apart? So I'm giving an assignment to look at your problems and ask yourself, what has fallen apart? What has changed? What has disintegrated? One way to have no problems or to have much less problems is to stop change. Freeze everything. Freeze your company. No change. And many people, because they're afraid of problems, because they're afraid of conflicts and the stress that problems bring, try to stop change. They freeze the world in which they live so that there will be no problems. But what's the danger there? What is the danger by doing that? By the way, that is a solution. And many fundamentalist religions try to do that, whether it's Christian or Muslim or Jewish or whatever. Stop change. What is the problem by doing that? When would you have no problems? When would you have absolutely no problems? You finally be free. Well, look, if change causes problems, you will have no problems only when there is no more change, which is when you are dead. Please realize the quietest place in town is the cemetery. Nothing is happening there. Or as Nikos Kazantakis, the author of Zorba the Greek, put on his tombstone, he said, no more fear, no more hope, finally free. When there is no more hope and then there is no more fear because there is no more change, you're finally free, but you're dead. You're dead. Being alive means having problems. Why? Because life is change, and change is problems. So if you have problems, you're in very good company, you're alive. And the livelier you are, the more problems you will have. Or, please, more opportunities you will have to become stronger and better. Look at little children. The livelier they are, the more in trouble they get. And look at old people. They don't get into trouble, but they are dying. You cannot stop change. Maybe you can stop your company, but your industry will not change. You cannot stop the industry, the country will change. You cannot stop the country, the world will change. There is no way to stop change. There is no way to have less problems. As a matter of fact, the higher is the rate of change, the more problems we are going to have. Or the more opportunities we are going to have. Depends on your frame of mind. And in this series of segments that I'm going to present to you, you're going to learn how to handle change correctly so there are really opportunities, and leave our competition behind because they don't know how to handle those opportunities that stem from problems. If all change is caused by disintegration, if all problems are caused by change, by disintegration, then what is the solution then? What is the antidote? What is the medicine? Integration. Bringing us together. That's what every doctor, every healer in every field is supposed to do. Psychotherapist is to put you together. Family therapist is to put you together. A medical doctor is to put you together if he does it correctly. Unfortunately, a lot of the medicines are really to shy away from what the problem is. They don't put us together. And the same thing is the role of a leader of an organization. See what we are doing here? We are causing change, new markets, new products. We have to adapt to the market. We have to move because the world is changing, and we have to move at the speed of the world that's changing. But by doing that, what's happening? Things are falling apart. We do not catch up. Example, in a young company, marketing and sales will change faster than the operations, the capability to build new plants and to take care of the inventory and to take care of the flow. And the computer systems are even further behind. Accounting is further behind. Cost accounting is even further behind. Human resources is even not born yet in a very young company moving very fast. And that's why the company has a lot of problems. I had a company in the software business that moved from 0 sales to $180 million sales in 3 years, and they had problems. Well, what do you expect? What do you expect? With that rate of change, there's going to be a lot of problems. So if you want to have less problems, stop change. But that means what? Die. That means committing suicide. Because you will have no problems only when there is no change, only when you are dead. And that's what happened with the dinosaurs. Was it change in the weather, climatic changes, they could not adapt to change. They simply disappeared. Who is going to survive? Those that can make change, manage change faster. Those that can make the problems opportunities to become stronger and better in the future. And the different segments that we are learning here, we're going to learn how to do that. But your role as a leader of your company, your department, your division, whatever it is that you're managing, is to cause change, which causes disintegration, and then to handle the repercussions of that disintegration, which means to solve the problems, to integrate again. Or to put it differently, if it is not broken, break it. And if it's broken, fix it. You are constantly going in two different directions. Break it, fix it, break it, fix it, break it, fix it. You cannot only have it fixed and don't allow it to break down because you're going to die, you're not changing. And you cannot just create problems all the time without fixing it because you will be like the space syndrome, expanding on the margin, collapsing on the core. No company should grow like this. Because if you are growing like this, there is only one way. Eventually down. Because it's like building a multi-rise building. If you have foundations for 3 floors, and now you want to add the 4th and the 5th and the 6th and the 7th floor because real estate is doing very well and the rentals prices are going up. Beware, by building the 4th and the 5th and the 6th floor, what's eventually going to happen? It's going to collapse. It has to collapse because the foundations are not good enough. The way to rise, build a company, you have to change and then fix it. Change and fix it, which you build it like a step function. You go, build. Oh my God, we are trembling. We are having problems. Turn inwards. Fix the inside of the company. Look at the structure, responsibility, people, reward system, communication. Okay, now we have a foundation for instead of a $5 million company, for a $50 million company. Then we build it to 15. Oppa, refix it again to the 4th. Every time you have to build it. So really a well-managed company, this is, by the way, not a well-managed company because this is nothing more than a mirror of this. This is preceding what's going to happen eventually going down. This is also not a good solution. This is better than this or better than that because it is disruptive, you see? You go out, stop, in, stop, out, in. What will happen is you will be having certain kind of people, then no good, fire them, change the organization, downsize, restructure. Oh my God, we are going nowhere. Fire the people, fire the leader, new company, new leadership. This is too disruptive. What you need to do is you have to learn how to chew gum and cross the street. How to work on the inside and outside at the same time. Please look at how many of your meetings you're focusing only on the outside. New markets, new potentials, new problems with competitors, problems with suppliers. And how much time are you spending in the meetings on fixing the inside? How do we communicate? How do we control the decisions that we are implementing? How do we define our goals correctly? Are we rewarding correctly? Are we hiring the right people correctly? You need to have a certain ratio between the external orientation and internal orientation. You have to work on both simultaneously. Why this is difficult to do and how to go about it in another segment. Thank you very much. See you again.